In today's lesson, we are going to do some algebraic manipulations with trigonometric functions. So we are going to compute and simplify trigonometric expressions and solve equations involving trigonometric expressions. So the first example I have is sine x times cotangent x minus sine squared x. So if we want to multiply and simplify, the first thing I'm going to do is rewrite cotangent x as cosine x over sine x. So I'm going to start with sine x times cosine x over sine x minus sine squared x. So because we have a sine x in the numerator and a sine x in the denominator, providing that sine x is not equal to 0, we can simplify by it and have cosine x minus sine squared x for our final answer. In example 2, we have tangent x times sine squared x plus tangent x times cosine squared x, and we'll need to simplify. So when we look at the two terms in the expression, they have tangent x as a common factor. So the first thing I do is factor out tangent x, and then I have sine squared x plus cosine squared x. And as you remember from the Pythagorean identities, sine squared x plus cosine squared x is equal to 1. So the final answer is just going to be tangent x. In the next problem, we have to simplify sine x plus pi over 2 times secant x. So I'm going to start out with sine x plus pi over 2. If you recall it, when we have sine x plus pi over 2, that means we shifted our graph to the left by pi over 2 units. So I can replace sine x plus pi over 2 by cosine x, and secant x I can replace by 1 over cosine x. So if I multiply those two together, my final answer here will be 1. Example number 5, sine to the 4th x plus sine squared x times cosine squared x is what we have to simplify. So I start out again with factoring out the common factor in the two terms, which is sine squared x. So I will have sine squared x plus cosine squared x left. And I know that sine squared x plus cosine squared x, the value is 1. So my final answer will just be sine squared x. And I just have to write this as 1. Okay, for example number 6, we have to solve for cosine if cosine squared x plus 3 cosine x equals negative 2. So this is no different from any other quadratic equation. We are going to move the negative 2 to the opposite side and say cosine squared x plus 3 cosine x plus 2 equals 0. Then I'm going to use my diamond. So I have 3 and 2. So the two numbers that add to 3 are 1 and 2, and multiply to 2 are 1 and 2. And it's going to be divided by cosine x, cosine of x. So I can rewrite this as cosine of x plus 1 times cosine of x plus 2 equals 0. And then we solve each one of the factors. So cosine x plus 1 equals 0. So cosine x will equal to negative 1. And cosine is negative 1 on pi. So the x will equal to pi. And cosine x plus 2 equals 0. So cosine x equals negative 2. But cosine is never going to be greater than a greater value than 1. So therefore, this is not a solution. What I'd like you to notice that I solved for x, and our question only asked to solve for cosine x. So you really did not have to state that x will equal to pi. So this next example is asking us to solve for sine x. On the next problem, we need to solve for sine x. So I'm going to first multiply by sine x and get sine squared x minus 2 sine x equals negative 1. Then I'm going to move the negative 1 to the other side. So sine squared x minus 2 sine x plus 1 will equal to 0. And if you notice, this one here is a perfect square trinomial, which is sine x minus 1 squared equals 0. So if I solve the equation, sine x minus 1 equals 0, and sine x will equal to 1. So we have to stop right here. We don't have to solve for x, just for sine x. On question 8, we need to solve for cosine x. So again, I'm going to move my 1 to the other side and have 2 cosine squared x minus 3 cosine x plus 1 equals 0. If I use the diamond, negative 3 and 2. So this will give us negative 1 and negative 2. Negative 1 plus negative 2 is negative 3, and the product of the two is 2, over 2 cosine x, or 2 cosine x. So the factored form is going to be 2 times cosine x minus 1. Then I simplify this second one by 2. So the second factor will be cosine x minus 1 equals 0. So the two solutions will be 2 cosine x minus 1 equals 0. 2 cosine x will equal 1. And cosine x will equal 1/2. And the second solution, cosine x minus 1 equals 0. If I add 1, cosine x will equal to 1. So here are our two solutions. So you can begin on your homework assignment. This is from your pacing guide.